Namo Saskya Muni Buddhaya, dear respected Thai, with respect to the whole community. Today is the 10th December 2017, and we are in Plum Village, Lower Hamlet, in the winter retreat. And today we have a question and answer session. It is very precious when we can share from our heart in the form of a question. In terms of the practice, in terms of the challenges we face in ourselves, in our family, in the relationship, and also in relationship with our society. When we able to share with the awareness of the whole community, we feel listened to, we feel embraced by, and we feel understood by the collective energy of mindfulness concentration and insight of each of us, of the whole community. And with that embracing awareness of our question, then it's already healing taken place beside the answers coming from Sister Nghiêm sitting there from New Hamlet, a diamond with loving kindness, and Sister Thăng also from New Hamlet. I try to understand her name. A diamond with going up, that is Thăng. I don't know the correct translation, but you go up like a helicopter. And Brother Pháp Khởi from Sơn Hà, the rising of the Dharma, like the rising of the moon, of the earth and the sun. And myself, Pháp ứng Dharma response. Yeah. So beside the sharing from our team, our brothers and sisters, the awareness of the answer is already a healing process. And adding the answers, it will be a nourishment and healing for ourselves, but also for everyone, because a question and concern from the heart is very much relating to us as human beings or with other beings. So that is already a practice which nourishes us and heals each of us. So whatever comes is a bonus. We don't have to expect a perfect answer for that, because answer come from different angle, from different experiences, and we can make use of the answer suitable for us. Yeah. So this moment is a very precious moment. Today is today's day, and make use of it. Otherwise, tomorrow, no chance. So now or never. If you feel your heart is beating, please come forward as quickly as possible in mindfulness, step by step. Otherwise, the road will be very long and you don't have any chance. Kidding. And you can also write your question in the form of a letter and pass it here. And we try to select them, put them in category, and try to answer them. And today, for sure, we don't have enough time for all the questions. The leftover from the question will be transformed into another food in a Dharma talk. So plenty of chance And informally, you can also come to your friends, to the Dharma teachers, and ask your question as well after this session. So, 1, 2, 3. The circle is open for everyone. Thank you. Please come and and sit on the beautiful chair. It's a little bit hot. And everyone else, if you would like to ask your question, also sit here behind the chairs. Thank you. And when before we ask our question, please enjoy one sound of the bell. Breathe deeply and be aware of the whole energy of the Sangha to make use of the collective energy.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, my name is Gilda, and I'm wearing these glasses at the moment because I'm filtering artificial light to help the healing process of my eyes. Just so you know, I respect you. My question is, how do you practice smiling at your feminine and masculine nature? I can expand on that as well, but if you understand. Thank you. Yes. How do you practice recognizing and appreciating the femininity and masculinity inside of you? I could keep expanding. Thank you. Yes. Yes. I identify as a woman, and the new Hamlet is for women, and I recognize that there is a healing in my feminine nature that is taking place, and there is also a healing of the masculine inside of me. And as I contemplate what it is inside of me that I do not want to see with my inner eye, I see that I've avoided seeing and appreciating masculinity because of my anger. And as I try to recognize femininity within and without, I also recognize masculinity. And I'm curious to know how this is, how this can be cultivated in the Sangha as we are separated, but even within Upper Hamlet, New Hamlet, Lower Hamlet, we have these energies as well, and I'd like to know how you smile at them and how you practice seeing it. I want to see. more clearly. Was that expansive enough? I could keep going. Thank you.
Dear respected dear community, dear friend, I would like to summarize and to see if this is what you meant, to make sure. So your question is, in the daily life where you stay in yourself, recognizing there's the masculinity and the female and male part of like the yin yang in the person, and how do you recognize that and to appreciate and smile at it, or how to see that in how you practice seeing different sides like that? I guess I can give it a try. Of course, please understand that we're not perfect. Like Thầy Pháp Ứng have said, each answer is just one of our own individual perspective, but you have to add your own into it and see what is helpful to you. So dear friends, for me, I'm a monk. So before I become a monk, I feel that I'm very male, very macho. I weight lift, I play sport, and I always do the guy thing, always, you know. And that's how I ever seen myself, a guy. I could never see myself, to be honest, I never cry. I never see myself crying. I just cannot. It's too female to cry. It was painful, I just had to take it, and that's it. And if I'm angry, then I punch the punching bag, I kick the tree, I do something else, break the wall, but never crying. It's just not part of me. So, coming into the community, what I have learned is that being a male or being a female, it does not really matter. The energy you have inside you is always there from your father, from your mother. There's different sides of us. There's one part where we are feeling that we are very protective. We want to do everything. We want to conquer the world. And if there's anything in our way, we'll just smash it, our obstacles. That's kind of the strong force in us. But in each one of us, there's also the soft side, the caring side, the loving side. And for myself, I thought I didn't have that. But in actuality, I do. So staying in a community, living with the monastics, and cultivating that compassion, that part of my heart where I care for others. Not just care for the ladies, but really care for others, anybody, my brother. So when my brother is sick, I come by and I check on him. How's he doing? And if he needs me to make rice soup, I can go make the rice soup. That's not a guy thing to do when I was out there in the world. I never do something like that. But I remember my mother, my grandmother do that. When we're sick, they will make the rice porridge for us and care for us. That's the soft side, the caring, compassionate side. And I nurture that. And interestingly, a lot of my brothers, now I seen coming in very strong, just like me before, and I become very soft because they're able to embrace that part of themselves and care for each other. And it's not a wrong thing, it's actually the right thing. Because now we look at the world, we no longer see this is a man and this is a woman. I'm a man, I gotta act this way. And a woman, you should act that way. It's no longer like that. We're human beings. We're social animals. We care for each other. We have both qualities in us. So to able to see that as a woman, to see that living in just a sister hamlet and be able to do things that normal ladies would not do, like go out and cut the tree, cut the branches, carrying heavy thing. It's okay, it's normal. It's just part of life. To be strong, to be angry as a woman, it's okay too. And especially to be able to speak up. Because from what I understand from the Western cultures, women are freely able to speak out as needed, as they see, as equal as men. But in the Asian culture, it's a little bit less. You're supposed to not speak out. You're supposed to listen to the man only. But this is a modern century. It doesn't have to be like that. So on the woman's side, on the sister's side, you can also be strong and speak out. And it's okay to be angry also. But of course, don't go to the extent of breaking things like, I have explained before. We can practice walking meditation and relieve them. But it's not wrong to be angry. It's okay. We just have to know how to handle it when we're angry. We know how to handle our energy when it becomes too strong. But also for us, monks, we also know how to handle our energy when it becomes too soft. So we have to stay in a balance and just recognizing which energy, which seed is sprouting up in yourself. And it's okay. They're both part of you. They're both part of your family, your mother, your father, and nourish the beautiful seeds in them. And it doesn't have to be, this is a soft seed, male, this is female seed. No, it's just you. Everything is within you, your ancestor. So just recognize it and smile at it. So that's my small perspective at these questions. I don't know if my brother and sisters have a different perspective you can offer to our friend. Thank you, dear Sangha.
Good morning, dear Thầy, dear Sangha. I remember a story. That I would like to share with you a little bit. About 4 years ago, I followed my sister to go visit her family. And her nephew was about 5 years old. And he's an only child, a son of my sister's cousins. And somehow we connect with each other a lot. He liked to play with me. So he took me around the house. He showed me his room, his playroom, his study room, his bedroom. And he took me downstairs, and it's a huge basement. And he even had a painting room. Many board, paper, ink, different kind of color painting. And he started to paint. And I stood there and I watched him. And I observed and I saw that he picked up a pink brush and ink. And I said, "Oh, you choose pink? It's so girly." And he didn't say anything. He was at 5 years old. He didn't say no word, but he continued to paint. And I was a little bit curious, I teased him. I told him that he was a little bit girly of choosing pink, but there's no signs of reaction or response from him. And then in the middle of his painting, he said, "There's no boy or girl color." It's 5 years old. I took that with me until now. And I said, "Zen master," 5 years old. And how I cherish him, how I always ask my sister about him from time to time, how's he doing? He cherishes pink. He likes to paint green color also. Thank you.
So dear Thai, dear friends, dear Gilda, I just want to add a little bit how I've become aware of the conditioning I received growing up in the country where I grew up. And if we grow up in many different countries, then perhaps we'll have many different roles that are expected of us as female or as male, as Brother Pháp Khởi has shared. And living in community, what has helped me a lot is to be aware of relationships in the community that I have with friends and sisters, and then to be aware of myself. Am I like my mother now? Am I acting like my mother and all of her good qualities? And also, sometimes I'm aware of, am I acting like my father now with his qualities? Because we know we are half mother and half father. So I like to keep this awareness present in me to help me with relationships, to keep them clear as possible, and to just have this mindfulness of what's coming up for me, what mental formations, and just to have this awareness, and then to know that the balance is the best, balancing the two, and yin-yang, as we've heard. So I think that's all. Thank you for your question. Very good.
Dear Thai, dear community, thank you, sisters and brothers. I would like to add, listening to you, having listened to you, I heard the word anger toward masculine energy. Is it correct? Masculine energy. So there is a wound in you toward I don't know who, representing a man. And therefore you don't want to appreciate that masculine energy in you. So you would like to know how you can smile, appreciate that man energy in you, and maybe surrounding you. So coming here in the community, you feel nourished by the sisters in New Hamlet. You feel, wow, grateful that I'm a woman in New Hamlet Sisters Hamlet. And that is very nourishing and healing at the same time, because the two sides, feminine and masculine, they are not separate. Though we distinguish this is man, this is woman, This is masculine, this is feminine. But in fact, in reality, they are. They cannot be separate. I cannot separate my mom and my father in me. Mom go away on one side, on the left side, you stay there, okay? And father, you stay on my right side, okay? I cannot do it in my body and also in my mind. So by nourishing the energy of softness, of gentleness, of care as feminine energy, you already heal the masculine energy. It's a very natural healing process because they already are. And a step further is to see, to have compassion for the wounds, to understand the conditions happened at the time. Like Sister Nghiêm said, conditions. Anger is there because there are many conditions. So anger is made of non-anger elements. And the same with violence from that person toward you is because of many conditions. And that person is just a victim of the situation. He is not only responsible for his violence toward you. Understanding like that, you have compassion and forgiveness for him. And that's very healing. And masculine energy also means courage. Feminine energy also has courage. We cannot separate like white and black. So that courage to reconcile, to forgive, help you to be strong, to stand on your own feet and cultivate the side of masculine in you from your inner capacity. You see that? So you make use of the anger to cultivate understanding, compassion, forgiveness, and at the same time cultivate the best in you in terms of masculine and feminine. They cannot be separate. And we are whole as a human being. We are complete and not divided, not in conflict between the two energies. So now you are in Plum Village, in a community of practice with thoughtful Sangha, nuns, women, monks, and men. Connect them in that spirit of understanding, of care, of support. Then you are healing yourself too. If you see, oh, that man, and you have some irritation coming up because of the old wound, then you come back and take care for that irritation feeling, and you heal, and then you can step forward. Hello, how are you? How is your practice? And then you connect him on the level of the practice of human beings. You go beyond your own wound and you connect with people in a compassionate way. And that's very healing for you and nourishing for him. So make use of the situation now in order to heal the past, to heal the wound in the past. The key is make use of the present moment condition to nourish and to heal. Good luck. You are beautiful as you are. Thank you for your question. It's very beneficial for all. Please come up and sit here, then we know who is first and who is second. If you have a question, please come and sit and remain sitting. It's also saving time of coming up. Yeah, so come and sit already. Take your seat, please.
Dear Sangha, dear friends, my question is it necessary to know the cause of a suffering to be able to heal the wound? Or is being aware of the suffering is sufficient?
The community, our friends' question. Your question is it necessary to recognize, to understand the causes, the conditions of the suffering? Or we recognize the wound, the suffering, that already is sufficient, that already enough to heal it. Yeah. Dear sisters and brothers, we are one team. We do need each other.
Dear respected Thai, dear sisters and brothers and dear friends and dear friend, my first thought is it depends on how Buddhist you want to be with the answer. I thought sometimes people suffer if a relationship has ended, or there's been a death in the family, a loss of some kind, and they're not necessarily Buddhists or practicing Buddhism, so they take a vacation. They change the environment to give a chance for other non-suffering seeds to be watered, and then to experience some happiness in the present moment. So it depends on whether you want a long-term happiness or just something like a Band-Aid that will cover the suffering for now. And then you will have enough time to experience a change and some lightness and get on with your life. And the deeper experience of suffering, of course, will still be there. But sometimes people feel that they have to do something in the present moment to feel and have an experience of some kind of happiness. before going very deeply to find the cause of suffering and then be able to transform it at the base, knowing the roots. So I think it would depend on where one is in one's life of practice, what are the needs. And I think for this, Thai has encouraged all of us to learn how to live in the present moment very deeply, to be in touch with what is going right in our lives, the people who are there for us and who are kind and loving. If the suffering was related to a relationship that brought suffering. So, and the Buddha also said, Drista Dharma Sukha Vihara, learning how to live deeply and happily in the present moment. So for that we can remember that nature is always there. The birds are always singing for us. The rain is falling. And so we can let go of the suffering long enough to let the beautiful healing elements of the present moment begin our process of healing. Yeah. And in fact, Thai said for people with depression, he recommends they don't think a lot about their depression. Stop feeding the depression with your thinking. Stop feeding your suffering by thinking about it. Instead, we can let go and let other nourishing and healing elements nourish and water our seeds of happiness that are there already. Maybe they haven't had enough chance to bloom and get strong. And I'll end by saying ultimately it's better at some point to be able to try to find what has led to the suffering. And at some point when we feel solid and strong enough, happy enough, and for that you can then be Buddhist and practice the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Noble Path, 8 right practices to help not create these causes of suffering again. But sometimes the causes are there, but we can recognize the causes and then make choices. So I hope that's been clear, not too complicated. And thank you. My brothers and sisters, please continue.
Je vais poser ma question en français et vous pouvez me répondre en anglais. Mon cœur bat très fort. Je pratique depuis 11 ans. et je peux guérir. Et mon corps me révèle les blessures, les souffrances enfuies en moi. Je suis venue à la vie. Mon corps m'a révélé au mois de janvier d'être né un enfant dyspraxique. Je peux mieux comprendre ce que je vis, ce que je traverse. Comprendre ma maman qui n'est pas revenue à la vie vivante. En ce moment, je traverse la difficulté. Le noir, c'est la mort. Quand je vois les personnes habillées en noir, c'est la mort. Et j'ai très dur avec cela. Moi, j'adore les couleurs. Et je peux bien vivre maintenant, accueillir les souffrances, comme Thaï enseigne. Pas de souffrance, pas de bonheur. Je peux vivre des grandes joies. Je suis très heureuse de pouvoir vivre et tout ce que je peux réaliser en ce moment. Mais c'est surtout ce noir. Et je ne suis pas heureuse ou à mon nouveau en ce moment. Pour moi, tout est noir là. Je suis venue ici ce matin, la lumière. J'ai besoin de lumière pour vivre et voir la beauté. Et la nature est mon refuge. Je voudrais savoir comment je peux accueillir, de voir ces personnes en noir et me guérir. Merci.
Votre question en anglais. Oui.
Ma question est, en ce moment, je rencontre des difficultés. My question is, I have difficulties to see, just most of the time, the woman with the black clothes. For me, it's the dye. La mort, c'est... and yes, it's not good in my body. I go always to the colors, the persons that smile. It's very, very difficult for me. I suffer this moment with that.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, dear friend, it seems that the English translation is shorter than the French version. And for us, we miss quite important part of your heart. And I wonder if it's necessary to add a little bit in the English version. If somebody would like to have it, or Sister Từ Nghiêm can do it, or Brother Đức Hiền coming up, please come up. We had heard about Mammon and
Dear Thai, dear community, our friend shared first that she's practicing since 11 years and that she's very happy with the practice, and for her it was like a rebirthing. She was like not really able to live a life before, and thanks to the practice now she's living again. And she said that her mother was not able to do that, so she passed away without this opportunity to touch life, really. So that's quite a deep suffering. And she said that for now there's some difficulties arising from her body, especially with the black color, what she said. And the black color is linked to the death. So that means that every time she sees somebody wearing black colors, she's like overwhelmed by the feeling of being in touch with death. Est-ce que j'ai dit l'essentiel? Est-ce qu'il manque quelque chose? Ça va? And she said that's why she needs a lot of light. So she's trying to be in touch with light as much as possible, to be able to face the fear she has. Thank you.
Dear respected Thai, dear community, dear friend, maybe I can start a little bit, and I hope my other brothers and sisters can help out a little bit more. For me, I usually think that I will live forever. That is my mentality, because I feel that I'm still young, my body is still healthy, so I never really have much thoughts about death itself. To be honest. So in my mind, I would think that when I'm in my 90s, 100s or something like that, I'll be most venerable, sitting in the lotus positions, taking my last sip of coffee and smiling to my disciples and say, it's time to go, I'll see you guys next round. So that's my mind. That's how it works, because there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with my body. I think I can go for another 100 years and still be okay. But in reality, that is not true. I have an awakening, not awakening, but a realizations recently when I was having some problem with my colons. And in the toilet, I was seeing a lot of blood. So the first thing that comes in mind is, oh man, this is terrible. The headline would say, Venerable Pháp Khởi, death in the toilet. So it's very hard for me to imagine saying, no, but I can't go. I'm too young to die. I got so many things to do. So many more things I wanted to do for this world. At least start my own Plum Village branch of coffee. But reality is, actually, I don't think I can live that long. 100 years? No. Death will come at any time. Today may be my last day. I could easily come outside and have a car accident. So, to be honest, we really don't know when that last day that we call death will come. But we do know today that we can live. That's the most important part. If you have one more day to live, how would you want to live this life? That's the questions that I ask myself. Every night I go to bed and then wake up in the morning, that's my question. How would I want to live this day? Do I want it to be beautiful? Be a true monk? Be a monastic? Or do I want to just let it go by and be bothered with many other unwholesome mental formations, sadness, anger, fear? Or would I want to spend this day caring and do my best as a monk, do my best as a person, do my best as a friend, not only to those that's around me, but also to myself. So whatever state that I'm at, that's the state that I will go. So I don't have to sit in the lotus positions and wait until that moment come, taking my last breath. I can be in that lotus positions if I'm aware of my present moment. If I'm truly aware and mindful of every single breath that I'm taking now, then my next breath, if I don't take it, that's okay, because the state I'm in is a happy state. And I continue to cultivate that. And not looking what will happen in that last moment. But what I look at is what is happening now. How can I be a good person? So that way when I go, there's no regret. Zero regret. There's no anger. There's no guilt. When I go, in my heart, there will always be love, caring for those that surround me, my friends, my brothers and sisters. And if I can do that, then I'm very happy. And it doesn't matter what age I go, today, tomorrow, or 100 years from now. It doesn't matter to me at all. So for me, that's how I practice on a daily basis. So I hope that shine a little bit of light. But it's only a small perspective of mine. So I hope my brother and sisters can add more. Thank you.
Dear friends, I'm happy to hear that because of the practice, you feel happier, you feel more alive than before. And you mentioned a little bit about the black color, make you feel a little bit heavy, a little bit uneasy. I have my own favorite color. But I do respect all the colors. So maybe at night, maybe you and me can look up into the sky, the dark, and it's black, the color. But beside it, it's just so bright, the stars, the moon. The moon and the stars are so bright, so beautiful. So there's a poem that our teacher wrote. Thanks to the dark sky, the stars are so bright. I also invite you to look at the black color in the coffee that Brother Pháp Khởi is drinking. His best color at the moment. It has its own respect, beauty. Also, there's people in the workplace that they wear black suit, looks very elegant too. So try to see different object, scenery that contain black color in a view that gives you more open to black color because it has its own beauty. There's some kind of flower that are black but look very beautiful too. But there's sometimes that we're not well, we're not so happy, and it's okay. It's okay not to look. Thank you for listening.
Dear Marie Flora, only one sentence has come to me to add, and that is the color itself, the color black itself can't hurt me. It's just the thinking around the color, the perceptions I have about the color. But itself, the color won't hurt me. So I don't have to be afraid of the color. Thank you.
Thank you, sisters and brothers, dear Thai, dear community, dear friend. I see your wounds has to do with your mom. She passed away without the practice that you have now. And in a state of not being happy, not being peaceful. And we can ask the question now, where is she? Mommy, where are you? She's there. In the flowers, yes, she is in the flower. Hello, mommy. The orchid, yes. You are there in the present moment with me. And we can also find our mom right here in our hand, isn't it? So mom is in the flower, in life, in the present moment. Also mom is here in each cell of my body. And we can cry for mom so she can feel relieved and embraced by the collective energy of the community. Allow ourselves to cry. It's very healing. You don't have to hold for yourself. Somebody has a tissue? So at this moment, mommy is feel embraced by the community, by love. And she feel recognized. She feel connected to you. I am you and you are me. You breathing in, I'm breathing in too. And this time, in mindfulness. This time with the community. And that is very healing for the moment of her death. Alone, fearful, not knowing where to go. This time, here and now, I am with my daughter. I am with mindfulness, with the community, with the flower. That give another life. She is already having another life right here, right now. She is not somewhere out there. And that's thanks to you. Thanks to you, you can make use of the inside. I am my mom is me, the inside of interbeing to offer your gratitude, your love to your mom. And offer her a new life, a new opportunity to live. That is the best gift as a daughter to our mom, isn't it? Then we make use of the suffering of your mom, yourself, to cultivate more determination, more understanding, more love, more gratitude for what you have here now, and together with your mom. There has been never a separation between us and our beloved ones. And that is thanks to the teaching of the Buddha. And then the Buddha is with you. The patriarch and Thai are there with you, supporting mom and daughter. So you can smile now. Eh? Enjoy. Thank you for your question. It's very beneficial for all of us. Thank you.
Thai, because Thai is the sun for me. It's my life. Thank you very much. And I thank Thai because for me, the first time it was the healing. And the sun is my heart.